What? You thought produce was just for chopping up and cooking and eating? There's so much more you can do with produce. So stay around and you're going to see with just a little effort and some specialty tools that you too can make artistry. So stick around. Well, it is the season for carving, so today we're going to take a look at equipment and its maintenance. For those of you that have inquired as to what the tools do and how to maintain them, we're going to take a little refresher course today, and we're going to take a look at what we do with them. So, shall we? The first tool we're going to show is a German stripping tool. This is actually sharp on one side. This is very good for using squash. I'll be demonstrating this shortly, but it's a dragging motion along the skin. The second tool, this is kind of an unusual contraption. This is actually a kerf knife. It is actually sharp on one side, a triangular blade, great for doing things such as V-cuts, stripping, peeling, things of that nature. Very useful tool. This other one is actually, this is a true U cutter. This actually is a square U. No angle to this, so if you're doing borders and things of that nature, this is a great tool to use. This is a diamond stone, not a steel, but it actually is a stone. And so when I do sharpen these tools, I actually sharpen these only on one side. Now this is a serrated U-cutter. What I'm actually going to do is just very lightly rub this, very lightly. The reason that I don't do both sides of the blades is because it is a very sharp tool, and if you're holding it with your hand, what's going to happen is if it's razor sharp, you're going to wind up cutting yourselves. This is actually a leather strop. You can pick these up at a woodworking store or anything of the sort. I'll actually just drag these, just drag it one direction just to give this a nice smooth surface and take off any burrs. Same thing is done with any of the knives as well. Those of you who recognize some of the knives that we have, this is actually a wooden tie knife. It's an aluminum blade. It's actually very flexible. Again, I sharpen these only on one side. If you're left-handed, you can sharpen it from the other side. But I actually will just drag this ever so lightly and take this and stroke the blade away from myself. Keep this on a flat surface and just stroke the blade, keeping it at roughly about a 10-degree angle. You can bring it back on the other side just a few strokes, and again, that's going to keep you with a very sharp edge. Same thing is true with the tie detail knife. Again, the harder that you drag this along the steel, it does not work any better. You want to do just kind of a light stroke, only on one side. And again, we'll take our blade and just rub it right along the surface. Rub it about once or twice, go in the other direction, take off any burrs, razor sharp. Those of you who have used some of the cutting tools before, this is a U and a V cutter. Actually going to just sharpen just the outer edge, just the outer edge, ever so lightly. Same thing is true with the V end. I'm actually going to take it on the other side here. And again, just dragging it ever so lightly along the surface. And with the U side, we actually just kind of do a rocking motion. Now, for me, I like to keep my knives at a very high degree level of sharpness. So again, this is with the Diba knife. I actually sharpen one side only, and take your knife and actually drag it away from you. A couple of strokes this way and we're good to go. Okay. For those of you who actually use the cheese plane, because this has a very shallow angle, I will actually take my steel and just ever so slightly rub the outside. You can probably do just a couple of strokes on the inside. And some people will actually take this and either bend the handle or bend the blade out, depending on what their needs are when they are sharpening the tool. Again, you want to keep them as sharp as you feel comfortable with. If they are, in fact, too sharp, you want to just make them a little duller, because, again, these are very sharp. We're always using both sides, so you want to be very careful, because if someone were to bump into you, you could have an accident. So now that we know that we're going to keep our tools very sharp and ready for action, I'm going to just take a little break, bring up some melons, and I'm going to show you what each one does and some of the different cuts that you can make with them, and show you that not only do things go in a straight line or from side to side, but with just a little motion and a little handwork, you can actually make these things do quite incredible cuts. Just a reminder, if you need tools, books, DVDs, you need to learn, you can go to the website www.chefgarnish.com and get your carving fix, if you will, so that you can learn more, get the proper tools, and begin to become the true culinary artist that is inside each and every one of us. So until then, carve on. Playing with your food. Mom was wrong. Stick around. We're going to show you some neat little tricks, a couple of tools, a little bit of time, hardly any imagination, and you too can be a artist du jour. Stick around. You want to make sure that you have a honeydew melon that is somewhat underripe. We'd like this not to have a very soft, flexible skin, because then it will tear. With the kerf knife, it's a lot of motion like this. It's a twisting, turning motion. You can actually take this and actually scoop pieces out. We can actually scoop pieces out. We can actually scoop pieces out. Now, once again, taking the true U, I'm actually going to do offset U's. I put it one way, and then I put it the other way. Put it one way, and these lines are actually connected. Put it the other way. Again, you're going to get more of that Chinese style border. We can continue to go all the way around if we choose. You can take this into a circle if we want. We can make it into a square. We can make whatever we want. Again, by taking this piece and continuing one U connected to the next one, we can continue to go. Now again, with this tool, we can go underneath the surface and get peeled strips. We can actually take these, and if we do these longer, take it down to about right here, we can actually take these and begin to tuck them, okay? Again, the key to this is to have a melon that is not a soft skin. You can see this actually starting to bunch up. That's why this wants to rip. This is actually a very soft melon, okay? But again, we can continue to do these on and on and on. Now, again, taking this little German stripper tool, same thing. See how easily that peels? Okay, we can take this piece, and again, we can tuck this in on itself. Okay, we can just make a series of little ribbons, just like so. okay? Just like so, okay? Very easy to do, very simple. Going just underneath the surface, you just drag it right along the surface. Press it right down, and we can, again, tuck these back into themselves, okay? And they will, in fact, stay. So again, a couple of different ways to use some new tools, some different tools, some things to give your pieces a little different look, okay? Now you know that these can go in any direction, right? Sure they can. So that means that if we wanted to make these and give them a little bit of curve to them, yes, we can in fact do that. We can take them and go any direction we want, okay? Can they be curved? Absolutely. Can they be straight? Absolutely. You as the artist, you limit exactly what you can do. Okay? So again, something very simple, something very easy to do. So I encourage you to not only look at the tools in a way that they are normally designed, but begin to look at them. See how this is? If we turn it upside down, it begins to make a border. See how we can take these pieces as opposed to taking a piece out. If we just left it connected and tuck it back into itself, we can get that whole looped effect. So again, different things do different designs. We could actually take this and actually make the designs just like this, okay? We can actually connect these one to another, okay? Again, we could take our knife and begin to cut relief underneath these if we so choose. So don't let the tool's initial design stop you. There are so many ways to utilize the different tools and to play with them and to actually use your own creative juices to make some different things. Just a reminder, if you need tools, books, DVDs, you need to learn, you can go to the website www.chefgarnish.com and get your carving fix, if you will, so that you can learn more, get the proper tools, and begin to become the true culinary artist that is inside each and every one of us. So until then, carve on. Playing with your food. Mom was wrong. Stick around. We're going to show you some neat little tricks, a couple of tools, a little bit of time, hardly any imagination, and you too can be a artist du jour. Stick around. We're going to start in with a baby watermelon. I'm going to show you a couple of different Thai techniques, also for using the cheese plane peeler for this. I've actually cut a piece off the bottom just so this has a stable base, and we're just going to take a very, very thin piece off the top here. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to take this cheese plane, and you can actually use this to peel your watermelon, okay? Very easy to do, doesn't tear it up like a vegetable peeler does. We're just going to peel this down to the white, about halfway here. All right, now we have this piece ready to go. We're going to take our Thai knife. We're just going to make a hole. Just a little tiny hole here, okay? Very small. We're going to take this piece out, just like that. Going to take our U-cutter, and we're just going to make a series of just U-cuts connected, of course. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just take out another little smiley face here, just like we showed on an earlier piece. And we're going to take our knife and make those tie type of petals like we did on the turnip. We're going to take out another piece, just like this. Okay. Notice that my angle is pretty steep going into the melon. That way I get to show some of the color that we would like to have come out. We're going to do what looks like about 3 petals here. And there we go. Now, we're going to take one out from point to point, one petal to the next, and do that same exact technique. I'm going to do the same thing here from point to point. Since there are 3 petals, take this piece out and point to point. Okay. Do it one more time here. And now, to make these pieces stand out, we can do a little more ornate work on this. In this case, we're actually going to take and do a little serrated petal around this. Take this piece out, and we'll trace around it. Very, very thin. Okay? Very, very thin. Do the same thing over here. Take and use our tie knife with a little back and forth and in and out motion, almost like a jigsaw. And take this piece out and trace around it. Now, we'll do the same thing here. Now we're going to start in on hanging tie petals. In this case, we're just going to take out just a small semicircle. Now that we've taken this piece out, we're going to start and go over and down into a point. Because I'm right-handed, I'm actually going from left to right, so we're going to take out a piece right in front of it here. And again, we're going to go down and over into a point. We're going to continue doing this motion all the way around so that you get this hanging petal effect, almost like turbines on a fan, almost like a fan blade. So we'll continue to do this all the way around.
Bring more to the center.
Okay. Now, once we get all the way around here, then we can highlight this piece and see what else we can do here. And we're back to where we started. Take this piece out here. And there we are. Now, to see what our pieces look like, we'll just cut a very shallow piece all the way around so that you can see how the hanging petals stand out. Give it a little lift here. Okay, and there's our piece. We're actually going to take our serrated cutter, and since this is the middle, our tool doesn't necessarily have to aim toward the middle. So what we're going to do is we're just going to aim it off center, making sure all these cuts are connected. Now, take these out in little semicircles. It comes out one at a time here. And again, we could start with the hanging petals again. Get this little fellow out right there. Okay. We'll do the same thing again with the hanging petals, only going in the reverse direction. So we'll take out that little semicircle, and we'll start on the left-hand side, curving over to the right. We'll take out another semicircle behind it, and these will make a little bit bigger than our previous petals, only for the benefit of video time. Again, angling your knife up, getting these pieces to come out quite easily. And there's our last one here. Piece pops right out. And again, if a piece breaks, that's quite all right. We're okay with that. Take this piece here. Now, we want to see what we just did, so we'll liberate these. See how it all looks. And then we're almost ready for our finishing touch on this. Be very careful when you take these pieces out. Now what we'll do, this piece we'll put right back in. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to take and just draw the lines, just to give this a little finished look here. And there's our finished piece. In our case, we would cut this at an angle so that it would angle up toward the guest. But as you can see, beautiful. Just a reminder, if you need tools, books, DVDs, you need to learn, you can go to the website, www.chefgarnish.com, and get your carving fix, if you will, so that you can learn more, get the proper tools, and begin to become the true culinary artist that is inside each and every one of us. So until then, carve on.